seeing a lot of talk from my colleagues on the left, too, as we shift toward this reinvigorated talk about Jim Crow, the past of this country. And as someone who is a direct descendant of a slave, as someone whose great-great-grandfather was born on a plantation, I can assure you, slavery is over. Jim Crow is dead. When I go anywhere, I don't see any white-only signs. I don't, I promise you. I am a black man that represents a white majority district in Texas. The great-great-grandson of a man born on a plantation stands before you today as a proud conservative Republican from Texas.
Here's a special thanks to United States Representative Wesley Hunt of the great state of Texas for telling it like it is. The Southern Poverty Law Center has been in the news recently after they were indicted for allegedly paying people to act racist. I didn't find this surprising in the least. I mean, like Congressman Hunt said, are we really seeing signs of white on black racism in America in 2026? I'm not, and I'm glad to know he isn't either. And here's a black guy in the red state of Texas representing a majority white district. Now, the left would have us all believe that rural and suburban Texas is full of hateful rednecks looking to lynch blacks. But Congressman Hunt's district is a mix of rural, suburban, and urban. And he's not kidding when he says it's mostly white. I've been there. And yet, there he sits in Congress. But it isn't just the Southern Poverty Law Center that's responsible for the propaganda. Mainstream media goons and pretty much every Democrat politician in America have all been telling the same lie for decades. You know, we could fix our country very quickly if we could just get people to stop believing obvious falsehoods.
In a competitive authoritarian nation, which is what America is now.
Stacey Abrams thinks we live in a competitive authoritarian nation. Whatever that is. I'm sure she doesn't know either, but go on.
Democracy is about ensuring that we have shared power and shared voices. It does not guarantee you victory, but it guarantees you access.
I've trained myself such that whenever I hear the word access, I know I'm listening to leftist bullshit. But continue, please.
Authoritarianism, especially competitive authoritarianism, attempts to diminish your ability to use those same democratic institutions to your benefit. With these new maps, we know that analysis by Fair Fight and Black Voters Matter show that we could lose 19 to 20 congressional seats, but we could lose up to 191 state legislative seats. And in the South, those state legislators draw city council districts, county commission districts, school board districts, and they draw state legislative lines. And so if you want to know if your child is going to have fair and equitable access to education, that will be diminished if your families can't participate in elections and elect leaders who value your education. If you want health care in the South, it's the state legislature that decides whether you have access.
So, according to Stacey Abrams, the state legislature decides whether you can see a doctor or go to school. And that's based on the skin color of the legislators, meaning only black legislators will look after black constituents. And because of the recent Supreme Court ruling prohibiting Democrats' long-standing practice of racial gerrymandering, black Americans are screwed. You know, this may be the dumbest, most racist bullshit I've ever heard, but then consider the source, right?
All of the things that disproportionately harm communities of color will now be decided by people who disproportionately dislike and vote against the needs of people of color.
I guess you didn't see Congressman Hunt's speech featured in the first segment of this video. Man, is she stupid.
that warms my heart, particularly as a black man.
Maybe that's why liberals are so unhappy. I mean, if I consistently made foolish life choices, I can't imagine I'd have much to smile about either. But this is why many people who live in red state America don't want refugees from blue states as neighbors. The red staters understand that too many blue state asylum seekers are at least partially to blame for their home state going down the toilet. The reason we have such terrible politicians governing us mainly comes down to an apathetic electorate. Liberals don't like to be taxed into poverty or to be victimized by violent criminals any more than conservatives do. But they vote for the very people who will raise their taxes and let criminals run wild. And meanwhile, too many conservatives don't even bother to vote. When liberals can't take it anymore, when there's just too much crime or they just can't earn a good living anymore, they move on to a more well-run state, a red state, and the process begins anew. But if this continues, we won't have red state America and blue state America. We'll end up as a communist country. Apathy and bad ideas are extremely contagious. But don't worry, I hear Big Pharma is working on a vaccine as we speak. Talk to you soon.
If you want health care in the South, it's the state legislature that decides whether you have access.
She's definitely a low IQ person.